Hey skiers, I'm Jeff from Skiessentials.com. Welcome to our weekly Top 5 Fridays ski industry news videos. If you watch our news videos regularly, you probably know that I was in Mount Hood for most of this week. Just got back last night. It was an awesome trip. Big thanks to Fisher for putting it together, specifically Mike Hatrip and Brian Landrigan. You guys are awesome, and the whole Fisher crew too. We had an awesome team out there. I have a lot of really exciting stuff to share from the trip. For now, I'm just going to throw a quick clip up here, just a little teaser from the top of Mount Hood with Mike and another just awesome skier to ski with, legendary skier, iconic name, Deb Armstrong, 1984 Olympic gold medalist. Super fun being on the top of the mountain with those two. So quick teaser clip. Deb,
nice work, team.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
That was awesome.
So good.
Look at it, picture for
So
all of
good.
us for sure.
And if you remember, last week we shared an edit of hiking or mountaineering Mount Hood, and Bob and I were kind of chatting about it and joking, like, I don't think we're going to do that. Like, that seems too technical. And yeah, we went to the top. It was super awesome. Awesome to have Mike there as kind of a guide. Obviously, he has a tremendous amount of mountaineering experience, so super fun. And yeah, big thanks to Mike specifically for safely bringing us to the top and back down again. Can't wait to share more from the trip. Not 100% sure when we will. Probably the first thing we'll do is we'll share kind of a trip report that will focus mostly on the climbing and mountaineering aspect of Mount Hood and skiing back down, which was super fun. And then we did a lot of ski testing while we were out there, which we will be sharing with you guys when we can. Nothing specifically that I can share just yet, but yeah, some exciting stuff kind of coming down the road that'll be exciting to talk about. So yeah, once again, big thank you to Fisher. And then we can get right into the news from there. No Bob this week. Bob's on a little mini family vacation. So Bob, hope you're having fun. We miss you here at Top 5 Fridays, but that's all right. We'll survive without you. So first topic of the week, the IOC, the International Olympic Committee, is going to vote on whether to make ski mountaineering an Olympic sport for 2026. So ski mountaineering had a trial run in the 2020 Youth Winter Olympics and would essentially consist of 5 events. So there would be a men's and women's team and individual event, or both men's and women's team and individual events, which would be 4 total events. And then there would also be a mixed gender relay race, which I think would be the most fun to watch. I always really like when there are mixed gender athletics or mixed gender competitions. So super cool. I really hope that the vote passes. I think it's awesome that the Olympics are kind of adding some alternative sports, so to speak, both on the summer and winter side. Like this summer, we're going to have skateboarding for the first time, which I think is going to be really entertaining and put it in front of a bunch of people who probably would not watch skateboarding normally. And I think you certainly don't have to be a skateboarder to appreciate what these guys are doing, and you could definitely say the same about ski mountaineers, especially in this kind of aspect. All of ski mountaineering is pretty impressive stuff, but yeah, the guys that race are just on another level. So that'll be really interesting to watch. We will certainly keep you posted on the results of that vote. Second topic of the week, New York Times has an article that's kind of touching on something that we talked about earlier in the spring. Back on April 30th, we talked about how this summer ski resorts could see an unprecedented amount of tourism, which would be really good after a couple slower seasons, at least for some resorts. We have talked about how some resorts this past winter did better than ever before, but yeah, I think in general, mountain towns and ski resort communities are still kind of looking for that increase in tourism to kind of kick things back off to pre-COVID levels, or kind of make up for what was lost. So this New York Times article talks about a lot of stuff that we've kind of mentioned before. Resorts have learned a lot about regulating and managing crowds. So they're kind of in a good position to accept an increasing amount of tourists. They're also offering an ever-expanding amount of events and activities. We've talked about this plenty before. We're seeing just explosions of mountain bike parks and roller coasters and all sorts of different summer attractions at ski resorts, and they're really doing a good job differentiating and making a wide range of attractions, so you get like a really good like family vacation destination. And then probably most importantly is most ski resorts, at least in North America or the United States, will be able to operate at full capacity this summer. COVID levels are dropping pretty steadily. So yeah, from what we've seen, most will be able to operate at full capacity. And opposed to previous times we've talked about this New York Times article did feel like it just had more of like a concretely positive tone. The other articles were felt a little bit more speculation, where this feels, obviously you don't know until it happens, but this feels a little bit more concrete. We also got some stats to kind of back it up, and specifically some stats from Killington Bike Park that I thought were interesting. The bike park's been around for 30 years, but its use surged from 12,000 visits in 2016 to 30,000 visits in 2018, and just continues to grow. Mountain biking across the country is exploding. We see it here in Vermont. There's just an impressive amount of new riders all over the place. So really cool to kind of get an article from New York Times about this. Obviously a very well-respected publication, and it was nice that they kind of threw some stats in there to look at as well. Next up, we have an article from the Colorado Sun. Colorado Sun is in Top 5 Fridays a lot. They also do a great job. Obviously not like as well known nationally or internationally as the New York Times, but yeah, as far as we're concerned, the Colorado Sun does a great job. And they have an article kind of talking more about the economics behind these ski resort land leases that we've been talking about and why the SHRED Act would help so much. So for some statistics, this past year, U.S. ski resorts paid $24 million in lease fees or rent, however you kind of want to think about it. That might sound like a lot, but it's down about $6 million from $30.1 in 2019, and it's actually the lowest amount since 2014, which is a result of numerous factors, one being COVID. But as we talked about before, this new SHRED Act would kind of focus or partly focus on increasing the efficiency of these lease decisions. So, if more leases get approved, then it's gonna increase the total amount of revenue. Now, currently, 100% of those fees are going to the U.S. Treasury, where it can be used for essentially whatever the government wants, or allocated however the government wants. The SHRED Act, as we kind of talked about, but I don't think we went into specifics this deep. The SHRED Act would retain 60 to 75% of those funds for the Forest Service in which that specific resort operates. And if you're curious, land fees are calculated as a percentage of the resort's gross revenue. So different than like if you or I went and rented a house or an apartment. I think as an individual, when we think about real estate leases, you think about like a set a set just amount, not a percentage. So if you're interested, that's how they're calculating it. And in Colorado, with that 60 to 75% going back to local Forest Service, that means they would be keeping about $10 to $12.5 million, which is a significant amount of money. So yeah, really hoping that this goes through. It all sounds really good to me. And if you want to read more about it, head on over to the Colorado Sun, because like I said, they do a great job. And then sticking in Colorado for the fourth topic of the week, Colorado Governor Jared Polis, who's actually in Top 5 Fridays quite a bit, it feels like, he has signed a trio of bills supporting outdoor recreation in the state. So kind of the big one is the general fund transfer to support Department of Natural Resources programs, which would allocate an additional $25 million for various outdoor recreation programs. And the breakdown basically goes like this. $17.5 million would go to state parks, $3.5 would go to natural wildlife conservation, $2.25 to search and rescue departments, $1 million to the Outdoor Equity Fund, which we'll talk more about in just a second, and then the remaining $750,000 to the Colorado Avalanche Information Center. Colorado had a lot of avalanches this season. It was a really bad season for avalanches, so nice to see some money getting put in that direction. And then, that Outdoor Equity Fund is another one of the three bills, and it's essentially enabling underserved youth and families to access the outdoors, so kind of providing some resources to get more people experiencing outdoor recreation than would be able to otherwise, which, all of us know how great outdoor recreation is. It's healthy. It makes you, mentally and physically healthy. It's really good for you. So, the more people we're getting outdoors and into nature and enjoying some outdoor recreation programs is just awesome, in my opinion. And then the third bill is Keep Colorado Wild Annual Pass, which is basically creating a low-cost pass for Colorado residents that they can use to enter any park. So, it's like a season pass for all of Colorado state parks, which I think is great. Just increase access, make it easier and easier for people to benefit from the resources around them, which I think is great. Once again, if you want to read more, head on over to the link in the description. This time you're going over to Fox 21 News. As a reminder, you can find the links to all the links will be in the description of this video if you want to read more about any of these topics. And then finally, we have our edits of the week. First up is Axel Runner's season edit. Axel is not somebody who was like really, he wasn't like prominent on my pro skier radar. I don't even know if he falls into the description of a pro skier, but he wasn't really on my radar. I had heard his name before, but nothing specific. Super impressive skiing. A lot of like really, really cool big mountain lines. Very strong skier, very brave skier for sure. A lot of fast skiing, a lot of big drops, that kind of stuff. And then speaking of good skiers and big mountain lines, we get the trailer for season 3 of Cody Townsend's The 50 Project. He kind of talks about why there weren't any episodes released over the past year, what you can expect from this season, and why he's really, really excited about it. It sounds like he thinks this is the best season that he's ever done. So really excited when those start coming out. Those are always really, really entertaining to watch. And then lastly, we have another mountain bike edit. We've had a lot of mountain bike edits this year. Excuse me. This one is Riding the Dolomites with Tom Oehler, put together by Red Bull. Red Bull always makes really, really impressive stuff. Their production budget's through the roof. So check that out. I was really impressed by the riding in this and just the terrain. I'm not used to mountain biking and exposure like that. I've done it a few times and it always really freaks me out. Coming from here in Vermont, usually when you're mountain biking, you can't see further than like, I don't know, 100 feet in front of you or something like that. We have pretty tight woods, so you don't get that like steep exposure feeling. So that's it for Top 5 Fridays. I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. Summer solstice is just behind us, so this is essentially the first official weekend of summer, so I hope you're able to do some summer activities. Maybe go to the beach, maybe go on a lake somewhere, or who knows, maybe you live near Mount Hood and you're going to go ski. I thought the conditions there were really, really good, plenty of snow. So whatever you end up doing, I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and we will talk to you next week.